right. Welcome to Ready Made Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Charlie Myers, with my football nerd co-host. This guy knows it all, Mr. Michael Zimmelman. What's going on, Mike? We are on a game night Thursday, 7:40 Eastern Time. Are you pumped for this game tonight or what?
Normally, I'm not too pumped for Thursday Night Football, but getting to see Minshew Mania and the Jaguars take on Fitzmagic and the Miami Dolphins, man, I think it's going to be an underrated game. I think it's going to be a good one.
There is some amazing facial hair that is going to be on that field today. And I like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Two Florida teams. I always love a little interstate rivalry. You got two big personalities. I have a big heart for one Mr. Fitzmagic, as I like to call him, as anyone likes to call him. Guy who took me to several Super Bowls last year with a big 5-touchdown game. So he's, you know what, he'll always have a place in my heart, Fitzpatrick, because not for nothing. The guy's a journeyman. He played on how many teams? I remember him on Buffalo. I mean, the guy's got to be on his fourth, fifth team by now. I'm probably underselling it. It might even be more. But Harvard graduate, smart guy, funny guy, and it's a little bit all or nothing. But let me tell you, with him, when it rains, it pours. 5 touchdown games. I could remember at least 4 touchdown games. I could remember at least 3 or 4. So.
Definitely, man. And listen, speaking from a Jets fan, my favorite years was Fitzmagic under center in 2015. The guy threw a franchise record, I believe it was 31 or 32 passing touchdowns for the Jets that year. It took us just to almost to the playoffs. But then one week 16 game against Buffalo, and it was all over. That we saw tragic that day, man. 3 picks that day against the Buffalo Bills when we needed that win to clinch for the wild card.
Wow. Oh, man, that's unfortunate. But you guys have plenty of unfortunate memories as Jet fans, so that's just one for the Rolodex, I guess.
Yeah, but still, he has had an incredible career, man, especially from a guy who was like a 5th-round pick, going from like the Rams and the Bengals and Buffalo, Tennessee, New York, and now chilling out in South Beach.
Wow.
He really played the journeyman game right to finish off with that Miami Heat.
So, how long until we see Tua is my question.
So here's the thing. I know that the Dolphins have been saying that the hip recovery has been going well, but I think right now for the Dolphins, best shot at seeing Tua would probably be like week 7 or like week 8. I'm gonna pull up the Dolphins schedule real quick to see what we could. They're gonna be at Arizona week 8, I think. So probably week 9 they take on the Jets back-to-back days at home. I think that'll probably be a prime opportunity for Tua. Get him a nice little easy game. Don't want to try to feed him to the wolves like the Chargers did with Justin Herbert. And hopefully no needles on the sidelines this time.
Well, you got the Dolphins at the Jags tonight. So they could win that game, okay? Then you got them home against the Seahawks. That's a loss. Mm-hmm. 49ers.
Even with those injuries.
With no pass rush, probably a loss. The Broncos is so, if he's going to play, it's going to be by week 5. They're going to be coming off 2 straight losses. It's, Seattle and the Niners. They're going to have a winnable game in Denver, and maybe that'll be when we'll see him if we see him. Because then you go Denver, Chargers, they're depleted. Yeah, the defense might still be good. We really don't know. And then you got the Rams, another tough defense, the Cardinals. So I think if we're going to see him, it's going to be by week 5 or 6, depending on what the record is. And depending on if Fitzmagic ends up having like a 6-pick game or a 4-pick game or, he's been known to be benched halfway through a game. So he gets in those funks, there's something about him. He gets in those funks. And he's either on or he's just off. I don't know if he's fighting with I don't know, but he's just off. So
Yeah, sometimes when I look at Fitzpatrick, I mean, the comparison might not make sense at first, but one guy I link him to is Jameis Winston, only because they're both guys who are so sure of themselves and so like comfortable with their arm talent that they're sure that every single throw is going to be a dime, but then they don't see something in coverage and then bam, 3 interception game, then bam, 4 interception game with like 3 passing touchdowns. So it's always like a 50-50 every time Fitzpatrick throws the ball sometimes.
I would say one of my most fun seasons. It was a year I won the chip in a deeper auction league, but I had Fitzpatrick and I had Jameson, and they were going back and forth, having great games and getting benched. Then I guess it was 2 years ago. Combined though, for Tampa that year, they were QB1. Because, if it wasn't Fitzpatrick having a couple of huge games, I think he started off the season with like 4 huge games. Then all of a sudden, it was J-Mo, and then he came in and had some huge games. So I had them both. I just had to put the guy in who was starting. It wasn't rocket science, but I'll tell you, it worked for me. It worked for me. And that's why you never draft quarterbacks early. Because, I remember last year I won it with Fitzpatrick. I won it with I had that Fitzpatrick Jameson the year before. So 10th round guys, 15th round guys when it comes to Fitzpatrick that year. So you don't do that. Tonight's game, I think we made predictions already. Did we both say 24-17? Was that?
Yes, we did. And then you got big mad because we said the same score, man.
We said the same score. And who do you have winning? You said.
I'll go with Jacksonville.
You're going Minshew Mania. But then I think we broke it down, and I remember saying who's got the best player in Miami and who's got the better offensive line. And I think I settled on Miami with this. So we will see. I mean, if I'm looking at it tonight, the game is in Jacksonville. I mean, no DJ Chark.
No, DJ Chark is out, but James Robinson is playing. And James Robinson's been killing it, man. I mean, the past 2 games, hold on. Let me just pull up the stats real quick for him because he had 100 yards, I know, against the Titans last week. And then week 1, he also busted out 62 yards. And so I definitely think that he's going to be able to have an impact for making the defense sleep on Minshew in the passing game. So hopefully he can have a good game out here tonight.
So let's break it down position by position and let's do some expectations. Jacksonville, we got Gardner Minshew, who we're discussing, and I think he could throw 2 touchdowns tonight. I think he's going to have 2 touchdowns tonight. I think he's going to throw 1 to Cole. I think where the other one will come from, maybe I got to give that a little thought, but I think Cole gets a touchdown. I think he has 2. I think there's a possibility that James Robinson could have a decent game, but I'm seeing, if I'm just going to go with my gut, he's getting like 68, 72 yards and no touchdowns. Gardner's getting 2. Cole will have 1. As far as the Dolphins, I think Fitzpatrick has 2 also. And 1 goes to – so Devontae Parker, is he going to play tonight? I believe he is.
Yeah, Devontae Parker is active. Let me take a look at the other Dolphins inactives real quick. I'm pretty sure
Preston Williams is playing.
Preston Williams should be playing if this will load. Yeah, so DJ Chark is out. Where is this right now? Yeah, DJ Chark's out tonight. Jaguars center Brandon Linder is out tonight. And Preston Williams will be playing, and Devontae Parker will also be playing. So I think the Dolphins are really not missing too many pieces out here. So they're really looking like the more complete team, more like healthy team. But here's the thing with me for Jacksonville. I think that losing DJ Chark is huge. But one guy who I'm going to look at tonight for possible boom or bust potential is Laviska Shenault, the guy, their rookie wide receiver. I like the fact that he's a big-bodied guy. I mean, this guy's like around 6'1", 227, but he's so hard to tackle sometimes. So I think if the Jaguars are in the red zone, he's going to be a threat for Minshew.
Well, he plays out of the slot. I could see him getting a touchdown tonight. He might be the other guy. We will see. I feel like on the Dolphins side, Devontae Parker might have one. I like Mike Gesicki to have possibly 100 yards and a touch again tonight.
Ooh, okay.
Which now that, you're kind of fully stacked, I mean, Parker's going to play. Williams is going to play. I think that opens up the middle of the field, and I think that he's going to play in the slot a little bit. He's going to line up as a wide receiver most times, and he's a guy I am probably top 5 guys I'm most upset I have no shares of. I have no Mike Gesicki, and it aligned in my head that this guy lines up as a wide receiver. I mean, this offense needs this player. He has an opportunity to be the number one in the offense, really. And it's looking like he's going to be. So I like him to 100 yards and a touchdown tonight.
7.
I like Preston Williams to get into the end zone. I don't know about Devontae. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes down. I think Preston Williams might be the guy and Mike Gesicki are going to be. I also like Myles Gaskin to catch at least 5 passes out of the backfield. I think he's going to end up with probably about 60 yards, maybe about 4 or 5 catches. And we'll see limited Jordan Howard. I mean, he's gotten
Jordan Howard's been such a disappointment for Miami, and the same thing
he's
with
dead
too, man. I mean,
the
fact that Myles Gaskin has gotten more touches than either one of them is so disappointing, especially with a guy with the way Jordan Howard looked his rookie season in the Bears. It's just really what kind of happened. I mean, I can't imagine it was just Tariq Cohen being there in Chicago. Then they shipped him off to Philadelphia. Then he loses he loses carries to Miles Sanders. I thought with Miami it'd be a perfect opportunity for him, but guess not.
Yeah, I know. It's you're never going to outsmart the NFL. You're never going to outsmart. You never know what these players are going to do. You never know what these teams are going to do. You could look at the moves they make, and it kind of gives you the best indication. But you and I both know that words coming from these coaches or these organizations, you could take them with a grain of salt. You never know what's going to really end up happening. So it's going to be a fun game tonight. It is definitely going to be some points scored, I think. I don't think either one of these defenses are really going to do a whole heck of a lot. I think there's going to be some fun. Do you have any players going tonight? Who are you starting? Who do you have the opportunity to be starting?
Well, for this game, I definitely agree with you. I like the matchup with Mike Gesicki against this Jaguars defense. And the fact that Mike Gesicki has right now been leading the team in targets, he's becoming one of Ryan Fitzpatrick's favorite players to throw to. So I think he's going to have a big game. For the Jaguars, James Robinson, as I mentioned, I think he could probably, if I had to really give an estimate, probably 75 rushing yards, maybe a catch or 2 for like 20 yards, and then 1 touchdown if he gets lucky. And another guy I'm also looking at is Keenan Cole for the Jaguars with Shark out. I think that Gardner Minshew is going to look for him a lot, especially with Tyler Eifert not playing too. So Keenan Cole.
Tyler Eifert's not playing? The Iron Man?
The
guy who's never missed a game.
The man whose
through
balls are
everything.
made of titanium? Like,
how is he still in the
Jackman?
NFL? How is that man still in the NFL? I could only
because Jay Gruden wanted to throw him a bone because for back when they were in the Bengals, it was like, all right, I guess you could come here for a bit. We're gonna tank for Lawrence anyway. But Minshew was like, hell no, man. We're gonna make sure I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna throw as many touchdowns as I can. As long as he's got.
What about C.J. Henderson tonight on defense for Jacksonville? Do you think he's a rookie? This guy's coming up. I mean, I know fantasy wouldn't really care too much about defense, but this guy is looking pretty damn good. I'll tell you that. And when I'm looking at players and I'm looking at these defenses, James Robinson, I don't know if he's going to do – you know what? I think I'm rooting against him because I have no shares of him, and I have so much Raquel Armstead and so much damn Divina Zigbo that this guy now is blowing up. And I messed up. I mean, why didn't I should have just cut bait with those other guys. And I knew James Robinson, they had just made the switch. And I figured long-term it's going to end up being Raquel Armstead. So that's who I got because I don't want the guy who's going to do good right now. But if this guy keeps putting up 100 yards and a touchdown, I mean, it's going to be pretty tough to bench him for Raquel Armstead, who's got freaking COVID. So I don't know, though. Honestly, I don't know. I think Jacksonville might win. My gut's telling my brain is telling me Miami, but my gut's telling me Jacksonville. My gut is telling me Jacksonville.
Listen, I mean, I haven't listened to your brain before, and I'm not going to now. I'm going with Jacksonville, I think. And one other X factor I think that could play well into this is Chris Thompson, the Jaguars running back, too. Jay Gruden likes to use running backs in the passing game, and Chris Thompson has some pretty reliable hands. So if they want to try to get James Robinson like a little bit of rest on the sidelines, I think look for him to try to make a move or two for this offense if they need it.
Yeah, well, they picked him up in the offseason. He'll be injured in next week. You know what'll happen? I'll tell you right now what'll happen. He'll be around another week or two. Raquel Armstead or Divina Zigbo will come back. He'll get injured. One of them will kind of come in, fill that role. Who knows by then how James Robinson is looking or feeling or whatever. Maybe, hopefully he does well. But if he doesn't, now all of a sudden you have fresh legs. You know what it is a lot of times, too, as ridiculous as it sounds? Some of these guys, you just hear their name and you're like, I don't know. I could just hear that name being the name of a player who's really good. And I kind of get that impression from Divine or Zigbo. I just imagine that guy, doing well for some reason. So I've heard comparisons to Todd Gurley, but, again, while this is happening with James Robinson, I guess, that's the guy to have. That's the guy to own. Unfortunately, I have Raquel Armstead on my friggin' IR. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but here's the thing, too. How about this? How about, especially for today's game, let's go a little bit of over-unders. So how about this? We'll start off right now with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Charlie, over-under 2 passing touchdowns for Ryan Fitzpatrick tonight and over-under, how about 1 interception?
So he's definitely going to have an interception, and he's definitely going to have 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to go at 2 touchdowns, whatever bet that puts me at, and I'm going to go with 1 pick. And that'll be his stat line.
Yeah, I'm feeling you too. I think I think he's going to catch the Jaguars sleeping a bit. I think I'm going to go with the over. I think at the end of the day, we could see Fitzmagic 258 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and an interception.
I don't see him having. We might be way off. These defenses,
Your mic's cutting off.
Might be horrible. I said these defenses might be absolutely terrible, and we might be in for a 42-36 shootout, which would be absolutely insane. I think I would hate that due to the fact that I have none of these players going.
Mm-hmm.
A shootout like that would just be ugly because that would mean that a whole bunch of other teams are scoring a whole bunch of points, and I'm not. And I don't really like that at all.
Man, but hey, it's sometimes you play the game, you don't always win, but you just got to come back each week. So Charlie, let's take a look at the rest of the schedule for games this week. We also got the Chicago Bears heading on the road to the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons have dropped 2 in a row despite some great games from Matt Ryan in the passing game. The running game hasn't really been going too well with Todd Gurley, and they're going to be taking on an undefeated Bears team who barely squeezed by the New York Giants from the second half last week. So who do you like in this matchup? And who do you think is going to be one of the fantasy studs for this week?
So we're talking the Chicago Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I mean, I picked up Trubisky this week. Because this Atlanta Falcons defense is like a revolving door. I mean, you basically just push through it and it swings and your whole family could just walk through. I mean, it's ridiculous how many, not even historically, but just this last defeat was so crushing. I honestly, though, if I'm going to talk experience on, I like the Falcons to bounce back a little bit, their defense to bounce back a little bit this week. So, and Trubisky's very hit or miss. So I don't think Trubisky's going to have that big of a game as much as anyone thinks. I always like Matt Ryan. I always like that offense. So I like Matt Ryan to go up over 300 yards. I think the Falcons beat the Bears, and I think they beat them pretty bad, honestly. I see the Bears putting up maybe 17, but I got the Falcons putting up like 34 points, So I think it's, if I had to pick that game, I'd say something like 34-17 Falcons. And in a way, it's not even close.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think that this is going to be the game that Atlanta really tries to wake up. And even if Julio Jones might not play, I do like Russell Gage being in the passing game too. He's somebody, if you're looking for a wide receiver on waiver wires, he'd be an interesting pickup here. And I'm with you, man. I have not been a big fan of Mitchell Trubisky. I think that he's going to underestimate this Atlanta defense, and he's going to probably have, I think, 1 or 2 picks in that game. I still love Matt Ryan, so I think he's going to light up the Bears secondary and their kicker who I got, Young Ho Ko, one of my favorite kickers in the league thus far.
One of the best names.
He's good, man. I mean, he made like what almost 250 yarders against the Cowboys last week, and they weren't able to pull through. So I got Atlanta over Chicago.
He's almost as good as my boy Rodrigo Blankenship. So he's on that level, and they both just have, when I pick my kickers, I look for the most ridiculous name available, and that's who I go with. Because there's no picking a good kicker. If you're picking a kicker, and you're picking a kicker anything earlier than the last or second to last round because you picked your defense last, then you're doing yourself a huge injustice. You never know. The best kicker ever from last year is never the best kicker the next year. I mean, even the greats, they're up in the top 5, but they're not number 1. So there's always an opportunity to go and grab a kicker. And for me, I'm liking Rodrigo Blankenship tonight, definitely. I mean, in general this season.
Oh, Rodrigo Blankenship is the man. Have you seen those goggles he's rocking it?
I know. He wears glasses. I mean, you need your kicker to wear glasses. He's got to see. If he's got to kick a 50-yarder, that's far away. Mike Gesicki, 130 yards week 2 against the Bills. Wow. What other games we got on the schedule?
Well, speaking of Rodrigo Blankenship, the Indianapolis Colts are going to be taking on the winless New York Jets in Indianapolis. For me, I mean, I'm suffering over here, dude. I've wanted Adam Gase gone for a while. Every time I watch that Sam Darnold touchdown he had last week, it's like, you ever see somebody down the road and you just think, this guy has so much potential, but he just looks so sad. Like, what's going on? And now all the wide receivers are out. They lose their starting center. So I think this is going to be a pretty solid game for Jonathan Taylor. I think he's going to run over this Jets defense. And I got the Colts over the Jets 28-14.
Okay. I got it. This is going to be, to me, one of those bad ones. And when I say one of those bad ones, I'm thinking the number 34 is popping in my head as far as what the Colts are scoring. Okay?
Oh, God.
And the number 3 is just popping in my head for the Jets.
Just 3? Come on, man. You got to at least get us in the end zone once. I mean, we lost everybody, but still got Frank Gore.
Frank Gore's your running back. You have no wide receivers. I think this kid Berrios is your number 1 guy. Chris Herndon's been non-existent. Your quarterback sucks. The defense, I mean, you got a good guy to pick to replace Jamal Adams, but other than that, the defense isn't looking great. And the Colts are just so damn good. Their offensive line is just so good. I mean, not that he had any wiggle last week at all, but Jonathan Taylor is going to have 2 touchdowns tomorrow. I mean, he's going to have an insane day. He's going to go bananas. Running behind Quentin Nelson.
Rushing yards for Jonathan Taylor.
He's going to have more. He's gonna have more, and T.Y. Hilton's gonna get in the end zone, and
Michael Pittman.
Mo Ali Cox is gonna get in the end zone. Michael Pittman's not gonna get in the end zone. And this is gonna be a rout. This is gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
To all the Jets fans who were there for the rally for the Adam Gase fire rally, I thank you. Hopefully we can get Chris Johnson can wake up one of these days. But going from one depressed fan base to another, we also have the Detroit Lions taking a trip southwest to face Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, Charlie, this game is just going to be Arizona dominating. Although I will say for the Lions,
Cardinals against who?
The Lions.
Oh boy. They're going to Arizona.
Yep.
Yeah, this isn't going to end well, as they say. I like the Cardinals to not only win this game, but go deep into the playoffs this year. This team looks like they're for real, and another one of my big regrets is not owning Kyler Murray, because this kid is he's just fast, and he's just elusive, and he's just a winner. And it's easy to win a game when your quarterback that you picked in the 7th round is putting up 30 points a game. So, yeah. The Lions, listen, Galladay plays, they could win, but it's doubtful. And I see the Cardinals winning, this game. This score, I could see them scoring 30 points.
Definitely. And one bright side I will say that the Lions have going for them in this game is after the Cardinals against Washington last week, TJ McLaurin had a pretty big game. I think 7 receptions, 157 receiving yards, and a passing touchdown. So if anybody's in need for either a tight end or a wide receiver, I think Marvin Jones could benefit from with Kenny Golladay not playing, or TJ Hawkinson at tight end if you're looking for somebody, because TJ Hawkinson started off his career. He had over 100 receiving yards and a touchdown reception against the Cardinals in week 1. I again, history could repeat itself. It's unlikely, but if you're willing to risk it, maybe.
I'll tell you, if Kenny Golladay plays, it's looking like he will. You put him in. I don't know if he's top 10 the first week he comes back, but he's a solid play. Stafford as well. Swift out of the backfield. He's good for 5-6 upwards catches a week.
Mm-hmm.
Not doing a damn thing on the ground, but I'm telling you, he's catching some passes. I did Marvin Jones, Old Faithful. I don't know if they could win the game, but I think, they could score a couple of points. Again, I like Arizona winning this game convincingly. I think they'll cover the spread. And who knows? Maybe even Mr. Larry Fitzgerald might have a touchdown this week. I wouldn't
I'd give a touchdown for Larry. Larry deserves
exactly. You gotta throw Larry the ball. That Super Bowl, man. When he, damn, man.
Such heartbreak. So heartbreaking, man. I wanted the
He took that game over. Yeah, he just took that game over, and I hope that they won. That 70-yard pass, and just for the Steelers to come back down and throw that pass to Santonio Holmes in the corner of the end zone, it was pretty devastating. But yeah, Larry's one of the greats. What other games do you have on the docket?
Yeah, speaking of NFC West, the undefeated Los Angeles Rams are going to head to upstate New York to take on the Buffalo Bills. So a matchup between two solid quarterbacks in Jared Goff and Josh Allen. Here's the thing, Charlie. I mean, I know that the Bills have been firing on all cylinders, but I'm a huge mark for Sean McVay. I love the guy. I love the fact that the Rams have been able to have this high-powered offense under his coaching. It's a tough matchup with that Bills secondary, but one guy I'm looking at probably going off is Cooper Kupp. I think that Tre'Davious White is going to be locked in on Robert Woods, so I think Cooper Kupp could have maybe at least 85 receiving yards and a touchdown reception. So in this one, I'm going to go the Rams in a close one, 35-31.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. And I'm going to tell you why.
How dare you disagree with me?
I know.
Having your own opinions.
I know. I know. Buffalo, they're just too hot right now. And they're home. And Goff is looking good. And I like the Rams. I like how they're playing. But at the end of the day, to go into Buffalo to play a red-hot team that's firing on all cylinders right now. Listen, I think it's going to be a really close game. I don't want to bet on it. I don't really know who's going to win. It's going to be a difficult game, but I got to go with the home team. Even with no fans in the stadium, because Josh Allen's looking like the real deal. Stefon Diggs is beasting. John Brown is solid. Knox, we'll see how that goes. Maybe he gets involved this week, but they're going to be tough to beat. And not for nothing, the Rams' backfield is, Henderson had a good week last week, but if Malcolm Brown is active and Akers is active, it's a messy backfield.
Cam Akers is out right now because I think he has
cartilage in his rib.
Yeah.
His separated cartilage in his ribs. But he could play through that. They say you could play through that. Guys play through it. It's very painful, but people do it.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to take Buffalo.
All right. We'll speak, and we also got another good – well, I think –
also, Moss is out for Buffalo. Just factor that in. He would not
Zach
be
Moss?
playing. Yeah, he's going to be out. Yeah, it's looking like he's going to be out.
Well,
Mike Gesicki has 160 yards so far
I'm
this
telling you,
season.
he is a beast. The dude is so good.
So annoying.
So another game we got Baker Mayfield and the Browns at home up against the Washington football team. Uh, I think for this one, for me, it's easy. I'm going with Cleveland. I don't really trust Dwayne Haskins at all. Offenses look sloppy at times. That front seven is going to cause problems for the Browns, but I think with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, I think it's going to take a lot of the pressure off Baker. So I got Cleveland 24, Washington 10.
I think Washington scores a little bit more than that. I think it's 24-20. I
Wow,
think
that close?
Baker, the Redskins aren't as bad as everyone thinks. Their defense has a lot of number one picks on it.
Oh no,
And
yeah, man. I mean, that Redskins front seven, you got Ryan Anderson, you got Montez Sweat, the beast Chase Young, Deron Payne, just so many bodies. But outside
and
of
you got Baker Mayfield, who makes a lot of mistakes.
that is
And
true. But
and
what about this? But the Washington's, I think the only thing for me is that I just don't trust Washington's secondary as much as I do that front seven. I think it's going to cause some pressure, but if the Browns offensive line's able to find some holes for the running game, then I just think you got to ride Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt all the way.
okay. I can see it. What other games we got?
We got Kirk Cousins, who almost got beaten the hell out of by the Indianapolis Colts and the Minnesota Vikings. They're taking on Ryan Tannehill and the Titans at home. Titans riding a 2-game winning streak. Ryan Tannehill has been looking so solid this year, like 6 passing touchdowns, I'm pretty sure. 408 passing yards. I got the Titans winning this one, despite I just don't know, like, how do you explain what's going on right now with Minnesota? Because this team is so much better on paper than what we've seen the first 2 weeks, man.
Well, they're what I like to call an every other year team. Okay? And this ain't one of those good years. This is one of their bad years. If you look back on the past 4 seasons, which is in my immediate memory banks, you have playoff, non-playoff, playoff, non-playoff, and playoff, and we are on a non-playoff year. Their defense looks terrible. They're giving up huge numbers. And Steph Diggs seems that to be a big difference. They don't have a guy who really stepped up in his place in his absence. They're missing him big time. Thielen's doing okay, but when he's on tough number one coverage, it's difficult for him to separate and score the kind of points that he's going to score when you have Steph Diggs on the other side. So, Dal Cook, I haven't heard a peep from. I haven't heard a word.
Like a freaking church mouse, man.
So afraid of, I don't know. I just anticipate him getting hurt. I really do. I don't know why, but if Dalvin Cook makes it the entire season, I mean, I guess I do know why. He really never makes it the whole season. But if he makes it the whole season, I'll be in shock. And as an Alexander Madison owner in several leagues, for me, I'm not wishing it, but if it happens, it happens. And you gotta back up these guys who are injury prone.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It's a good handcuff that you got Matheson too for with Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and there's I'm a handcuff guy. I like handcuffing my players that I know are going to have a significant role, their backup. And I like handcuffing other people's backups who are going to have a significant role. So I'm kind of right in the middle with it. But I feel that, the Vikings are going to lose. They're going to lose. I don't see them winning. Kirk's looking like crap.
Well,
I'll tell you what, he's better than RG3, though. Wasn't RG3 drafted in, like, the first round, and then they drafted Kirk Cousins in, like, the third?
Yeah.
And they were both on the Redskins?
Second overall, then Kirk Cousins, a fourth-round pick. I think eighth overall.
Yeah.
But I was a fan of Cousins even back in college, though.
Well, that's what I remember saying. I remember saying Kirk Cousins is going to have a better career than RG3.
I mean, listen, he already got the guaranteed money, man. He's been winning since he signed in Minnesota.
Never forget, Kirk Cousins is the one who didn't he miss – he barely he had to do the gender reveal. He had to, like, throw something, and he barely hit it.
Yes, dude, that was his first kid. That was so funny, man. Like, he hit the corner of the box from, like, 5 feet away? Kirk, come on.
You know how Philip Rivers got so accurate at one point? It's because the first kid, he missed like Kirk. But, like, 8 tries later – 8 kids later, he's a beast. He's a beast, Rivers. So
Philip Rivers has a kid for every 20-yard touchdown season he has.
Yeah, exactly. What other games we have? We're going to do Speed Mo, and we'll break you off right in time for game time, which is coming down the pipe in a couple of minutes.
All right, let's get ready. I'm going to speed through this like Cordell Patterson on a kickoff return. All right, we got Raiders heading to New England. Raiders are also missing Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller, who didn't practice today. I got New England winning this one, and one guy to watch out for fantasy, maybe N'Keal Harry if Cam Newton wants to go down there. Charlie, who you got?
I got the Patriots winning, and my sleeper of the game is Demir Bird.
Nice job. I think
7 receptions for 86 yards.
Ooh, bold claim. Let's see if he can back it up. Now we got your New York Football Giants back at MetLife. They just signed Devonta Freeman after Saquon Barkley tore his ACL, and they're facing an injury-ravaged 49ers team again back at MetLife. Even with that, I still got 49ers winning. One guy I'm going to look out for. Let's see. Give me a second. I guess Jordan Reed in this one. It's not really that many exciting players right now for in terms of fantasy perspectives in this matchup.
Upset of the week.
New
York Giants over the 49ers.
Good, sir. You expecting a big game from Danny Dimes?
Well, let me tell you why I feel this way. First of all, they have no pass rush, the Niners. Okay?
True.
Their secondary is okay, which is fine. Also, I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play. It's looking like
they're starting Nick Mullins.
Okay, so Nick Mullins is playing. They have no pass rush. They have no wide receivers. They have Jeff Wilson and Jet McKinnon starting at running back. They're playing on a field that just decimated them last week. On the other side of the ball, you got Danny Dimes, who's got all of his weapons other than Saquon, which is obviously a big loss. But, I mean, he's got Golden Tate. He's got Slayton. He's familiar with the offense. He's home. They haven't won. I mean, I don't know. I think I got the Giants.
We'll have to see. Speaking of NFC East, the winless Philadelphia Eagles take a head back home to face off against the Cincinnati Bengals. Charlie, this is a game I think that Joe Burrow, we saw the past 2 weeks, this guy has done everything in his power to try to get the Bengals win. They just couldn't do it. But I think with a bad luck Eagles team like this, I think that this is going to be the first win of the season for Cincinnati. One guy I'm going to look at for a big game, I think Auden Tate might finally get some attention because I think what's his name? The Eagles quarterback, Darius Slay, I think he's going to be paying a lot of attention to like John Ross and AJ Green. Excuse me. So I got Bengals over the Eagles 28-17.
I like that choice. I'll go with the Bengals over the Eagles too. A little bit closer, though. I'm going to go with the 17-10.
Nice. All right. Now we also got Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers at home against Deshaun Watson and the winless Houston Texans. I think the Steelers are going to keep on rolling. I didn't like what I saw last week, but with the Texans against Baltimore. One guy I think that could have a pretty nice game is probably Deontay Johnson for the Steelers. I got Pittsburgh winning 28-21.
I like Pittsburgh also winning this game 28-16.
Nice. All right, and now after last week's controversial start of Justin Herbert, the young QB gets his first week of prep before start. They're back at home at SoFi Stadium. The Chargers are taking on the winless Carolina Panthers. I got Los Angeles winning this game. The Panthers' run defense has been trash. I think that they're going to allow Josh Kelly and Austin Eckler to really rack up some yards, make it easier for Justin Herbert. So I got Chargers winning 35-17.
I like the Chargers to win, too. I think it's a little bit lower scoring game. I like it. They win 20-10 over the Panthers.
Nice. And then we got Tampa Bay, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers heading to Denver to face an injury-ravaged Denver Broncos team. I got Buccaneers all day. I'm thinking that this is going to be another big game for Leonard Fournette now. I think he established himself as the lead back. I got Tampa Bay beating Denver 28-7.
Yeah, I like Tampa Bay over Denver for sure this week. I think Tom Brady's going to have a big game. I think Godwin gets a touchdown. I think Mike Evans gets a touchdown. I think Leonard Fournette gets a touchdown. It's like Oprah. Everybody gets a touchdown. I definitely like Tom Brady to start heating up at this part of the season. I think the first 2 weeks he didn't have his great wide receivers, probably the reasons he came to Tampa in the first place. Two of the big reasons, both healthy. So I absolutely love Tom Brady and Tampa to win this game.
Definitely. And I got to agree with you with Tom Brady. I think learning a new offense, especially one from a guy like Bruce Arians, it's difficult to pick up, but I think more towards the middle of the season, we're going to see Tom start to live up to expectations. And another Sunday afternoon game, Dallas Cowboys head to Seattle to face Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. This is a little bit of a closer game than people may think. Seahawks were dealing with injuries in their secondary, so I don't think Russ is going to throw another 5 passing touchdowns, but I think he's going to have a productive day. One guy I could look at is David Moore for the Seahawks wide receiver. I think the secondary is going to pay a lot of attention to Metcalf and Lockett. I'm going Seattle, really close one, 28-24.
I think I'm going to go with Seattle as well. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to come down to literally the last drive play, something along those lines. I think the score is going to be something around 35-28. I mean, we're going to be up over 50 points combined, without a doubt. I like the Seahawks in a close game.
Nice. And a big Sunday night football matchup. Drew Brees and the Saints are back at the Superdome, hopefully trying to make up for Monday's embarrassing performance against the Raiders. Hopefully Drew Brees can throw some noodle arm touchdown passes. But guess what? They're facing an undefeated Packers team whose offense was week 1. Aaron Rodgers looked like his old self. Then Aaron Jones went off for a big week 2. I got the Packers over this one, 28-17. One guy who I think could probably have a pretty good game is Alan Lazard.
Okay, I'm going to go the latter. I think I'm going to go with the Saints this one. Like the Saints.
Okay. Nice little revenge game for Drew.
You know, the Packers are they're a great team. It's looking like they have one of the best quarterbacks of all time. They got a guy who's totally disrespected, but is an absolute beast in Aaron Jones. Here's the problem. The wide receiver core is better in a way, slightly, than the Saints with Michael Thomas out. If Devontae Adams plays, but I think the defense of the Saints is considerably better than the defense of the Packers. So that's why I like the Packers. I like the Saints to win this. And I don't see the Saints losing 2 in a row. And I think the Packers, although really good, it's going to be difficult. It's a very close game. I'm not going to bet them in my suicide pool, but I like the Saints. I like the Saints in a another high-scoring affair, I think, but probably around 24 to maybe 20.
All right, and now we got Monday Night Football, the game of the week, baby. The Kansas reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs head to Baltimore to face Lamar Jackson.
Oh, boy.
Baltimore Ravens. This is the toughest matchup for me in this one. Listen, the Chiefs had a definite scare against the Chargers last week, and the Ravens had a pretty easy win against the Texans. But for this one, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to try to bounce back in this one. I got the Chiefs over the Ravens in a high-scoring one. I'm going 35-31 Chiefs, and I think this is a nice little game for J.K. Dobbins to try to separate himself with the pack. I think he could probably get at least 70 rushing yards, maybe 2 rushing touchdowns, hopefully.
Yeah, I like the Ravens this game. I like the Ravens just mainly because the defense is so much better than the Chiefs, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a fun one. This is the kind of game you look forward to all year, especially on a Monday night, nationally televised game. It's going to be a scoring bonanza, I feel, and it's the reason we watch football. It's the reason we're happy football is back, and it's a rivalry that is going to span for years to come. So I'm definitely excited about another installment. Currently in the Dolphins, Jags, still nothing. Fitzpatrick's got 46 yards. Myles Gaskin he's got a lot of carries, and they're threatening down in the red zone. So let's see. We got Fitzpatrick drops back. Myles Gaskin again. So this guy's getting a lot of work. He's getting a lot of work, Myles Gaskin. He could be one of these guys. Let me tell you, the way he's looking right now, he could be one of these guys where you're like, oh, shit, I should have got this guy earlier. What definitely. Are they going to do? Here it goes. Another draw and another one right up the middle. Myles Gaskin. Watch. Here we go. This is what it's going to be Gesicki time now. It's going to be Gesicki time.
I don't know. I think they're going to keep feeding Gaskin, man. I liked Myles Gaskin, though, because I'm a bit of a college football fan. I liked how he played at University of Washington. I didn't expect him to get really much of a chance, but so to see him playing well for Miami, he's doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I think I got 2 TVs going, so we'll see which one. This is the last play he just did. So they're really committed to the run, the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think
Eric Flowers on offense. To see him on an offensive line, that bastard, the Giants.
Too many bad memories with Eric Flowers.
Of course he was going to go somewhere. 7 rushes for 35 yards for Myles Gaskin. And they run it to him again. Wow. They are just trying to shove it down.
Chan Gailey really has a lot of faith in Myles Gaskin. It's kind of cool to see. It's still disappointing that Jordan Howard and Matt Breida can't do much, but, at least somebody's at least they're feeding somebody the ball.
Unbelievable. Let's see this. A big third and goal. What are they doing? They're running or they're passing? They're passing.
I think they got to pass.
They're in the bunch.
Okay. I'm going play action touchdown pass Myles Gaskin.
No play action.
Not Myles Gaskin.
They're throwing it right. Boom. Gesicki. Who is it? Touchdown. Preston Williams.
Preston Williams. Okay. Good to see him find the end zone.
Can we rewind the tape? I think I just said Preston Williams is going to have a touchdown. So we're going to have to check that back because we're going to go look back on all these predictions on next week's show or this week's show. There's Preston Williams on somebody's bench right now, I guarantee it.
So Preston Williams, congrats on finding the end zone this week, my man. Well deserved.
Guess what? Holy smokes. Do you see how many fans they got?
It's Florida, dude.
Fans. I know.
It's Florida, man, baby. We don't care about no COVID, boy.
I'm going down. I'm going down the end of October, but that's interesting. You got a lot of fans in Jacksonville.
Are you going down to Florida?
End of October to visit, yeah.
Oh, nice. Where are you going?
To West Palm.
Oh, nice.
Places, yeah. So it'll be good. It'll definitely be good. So, all right, let's wrap it up. It was a good show. We had a good time.
Always
we got
fun.
a lot of predictions out. We're gonna see how good we really are. I mean, granted, that'll be our initial. You know what it'll be? Watch, we hit every game, and then we're like, damn, we should have bet the card. You know.
Oh, dude, I already put money on this week's games, man. I'm really nervous about about who I picked, but you know, you got to risk it.
Yeah, like I said, you know my choices. I feel like this. I don't know, man. If the Giants, I'd like to put a little money on the Giants, probably.
Listen, man,
like this guy,
$20 could be something.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Until next time. That was a good show, Mike. Yeah, we will be back in a couple of days for some more fantasy football news. So stay tuned. We'll talk to you soon.
Later, everybody.
Later.